Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your resident Gen Xer, and right over there, as usual, everybody's favorite, your resident millennial,
Right.
John, the understated.
Right. Everybody's favorite. Correct.
I like that, John, the understated.
Yeah. I am rather understated,
You are
unfortunately.
extremely understated.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like it.
you're that understated where it's like I'm not sure that that guy could even read. See,
No, I certainly can. I'm
completely
completely
understated,
illiterate.
and then
Yeah.
boom, you whip out being able to, Dick and Jane sat, you know,
Yeah,
boom, whipping out them reading skills. Thoroughly
true.
understated. I see Saint in the house tonight. I also
Yes,
see
sir.
Elephant Man in the house. Drop it like it's snot. Good to see. Good to
Ah,
see. We're harlots tonight. I do enjoy harlot. That's a very doesn't
it
harlot
sounds more
just it
sophisticated.
has a very sophisticated sound to
Yeah.
it, doesn't it? It's even
I'm
better.
like I'm like a I'm like a Las Vegas hooker, not a Detroit hooker. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of class there, you
Right.
know.
And I think harlot to me sounds better than escort, right? Like when I think escort, I'm like, so the shittiest car Ford ever made. Right?
But at least
That's
you're not a hoe though. If you're an escort, like you're higher than the hoe.
well, sure, but it doesn't have the same, the same tone that harlot does.
Harlot, yeah.
Harlot is extremely dirty and just dirty. Yet
Right.
sounds so. I could take her into the hotel foyer with me.
Right. Yeah, yeah. She doesn't have to like come through the back door and then, you go separate elevators and shit. Nah.
Elephant Man
Walk in
wants
with her on your arm.
Elephant Man wants to know if there's any good Florida Man stuff this week. There's always good Florida Man stuff. It's just whether or not it gets captured, right?
Right.
That is the big key.
True.
Hey, I'm going to tell you because it keeps running through my mind. I have a little anecdote about something that was said on TV that cannot be said anymore in the present day. All right.
Really.
So I'm watching an episode of Different Strokes, and
Hmm.
Arnold, they're filming an episode of a TV show in their building, and at the same time, Arnold is trying to impress Dudley's cousin, who's a cute little girl that he thinks is so cool. And the show happens to be the A team that they're filming. So Mr. T, they wind up interacting with the film crew, who wants to use their apartment. Long story short, Mr. T's there,
Hmm.
and Mr. T is given Arnold advice on girls, and he says to him, "You can't force them to like you. Well, I can, but that's a different story. But you can't force them to like you." And I'm like, you cannot say that on TV anymore. No way.
Right. Yeah, that's
Well,
pretty
I
bad.
can, but that's a different story.
Right.
Anyway, thought I'd share that. I thought I'd share that. Just a funny thing you can't say on TV anymore.
Yeah, Mr. T's canceled now.
Right? Right? I can't believe he said that on TV. Um,
I do dig the classic.
now I
Like
had
that.
now
All my years.
now I have to say, it's very interesting. I pulled up Different Strokes and started watching it for a very specific reason. It had to do with the conversation we had previously on another episode about 2030, right? But I was, it is one of those perfect shows where you get to see the black versus white dynamic, et cetera, because of course, almost every episode has got something racially charged going on,
Right.
especially in the first two or three seasons. Um, so, I love going back and watching older TV to see how it correlates with the present day, and it's quite interesting that a lot of what is being said and a lot of what is being done is the exact same narrative that we're seeing in today's media, entertainment media. Just, of course, the cultural uh, lingo of the time, as it were. But the same, the narrative has not changed, which I think is very interesting. When
I thought they were more about like racial unity back then.
well, but it was, it
We're not
was,
doing that anymore. You know that, right?
they do,
Like
they,
we don't do the racial unity thing anymore.
well, we do,
No.
I will disagree with that. If you pull up, I'd like you to look up what Herschel Walker said to Congress about the new reparations committee that they have put together just recently, and are actually determining whether or not they're going to pay out reparations.
Okay,
Um,
that's not unity though. That's not what I'm
well,
talking
hold on, but Herschel Walker
about.
spoke to Unity when he told them why reparations was a bad idea, and he spoke a very unifying message. And
Maybe, yeah.
I was like, damn, this is Herschel Walker. I thoroughly appreciate what he had to say on the matter. Uh,
Sure.
but
That's one person though. I'm talking about the general narrative,
um,
like
but
overall, the
but
overall narrative.
but yes, yeah, there is it's a lot more kumbaya then, but we will that is going to be a narrative that is going to be continued still once we get past the hiccups of the contention that we are currently in right now. The unity will still be the message, John. It's all about unity. But if you want to see some, some good old fashioned fun poking at it, and how they're, I don't know. It's funny. Sometimes I'm just like, damn, they really were allowed to. It's surprising what you could get away with saying. But
Yeah.
what the culture would allow, and also just the cultural differences in how people were living at the time.
What's
You
funny
know,
is that's what was politically correct at the time.
hmm
Whenever they were, that
right?
was yeah, yeah,
Ed
yeah.
says Trovos for people who can't afford YouTube. Good to see you tonight, Ed.
And for some reason, Trovo is like really far behind in the stream. I was looking at it earlier. It
Um,
like took
maybe they've got a lot going
forever to get
on
through
over
the
there,
entrance.
so they're having server lag.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm not having any output issues on my end
Yeah,
that
it
I'm
looks like
seeing. So
no. It looks like it caught up for itself, but it was playing the entrance, like the little intro, for quite a while after we
it's
started
probably
actually streaming.
it's either
It doesn't matter.
it's either your bandwidth or they're having server backlog issues.
Yeah, could be either one. But Elephant Man does ask me, John, what if reparation with tax exemptions? Well, I mean, that's not really how that works. I mean, obviously, I want tax exemption. I don't want to just give it to people and everything. What if they're like black people who don't pay taxes at the moment? That happens, they don't get anything, right? Um, or
what
if they, if they, a lot of people, not just black people, but a lot of people, especially poorer people, will actually receive more in their tax at the end of the tax year than they gave in. So you wouldn't really want that. You would want to pay your meager taxes so you can get a lot more back than you put in.
listen.
So I don't know that that would really work.
I'm gonna give everyone here a piece of sage advice. The only thing to really focus on, okay? Because whether they do it or not is kind of out of our hands, right? To a certain extent. And just as a side note, the math has been done. If reparations were paid out, it would be to the tune of about 20 something trillion dollars, and
Yeah.
it would wind up giving every ancestor of slavery around 240,000
My God, fuck that. What?
right?
Wreck
But
the
anyway,
economy.
right, right there you go.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's the only thing that you need to take away from this. You should watch what's going on with it and see how it progresses. Because if it looks like they're going to put something forward with reparations, you should immediately go through whatever trading platform you use and you buy stock in 23andMe and
Mm.
buy some stock in Ancestry, because one of the big things that's going to be important is your
DNA tracing.
DNA tracing,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so that means
True.
these companies are going to blow up. People are
Now,
going to
this
want to
is
be
not financial
proven,
advice. It's not financial advice. We just like the stock. All right.
right? It's
That's it.
just saying. So that's your takeaway, right? No matter what else happens, those companies will blow up. So jump on board if
Nope.
if you think it's a good idea. I'm just saying I think that's what I would do because I like the stock. That's it. I can promise you I'm no one to take financial advice from. I'm not even sure
Yeah,
how
don't.
I'm not even sure I can pay attention.
Haha.
Right? But has anything funny happened? Is there anything that we can sit back and laugh at? Probably not really so much.
I mean, there's just kind of like the Biden gaffe where it almost sounds like he said the N-word
Well,
at one point. That's about it.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, not much really happened that's
How about
funny.
or how about the Donald Trump Jr. gaffe where
Which one?
so he posted a video addressing schools who were saying that they weren't sure that it was a good idea to go back to in building classes, head back to the classrooms yet. And he was addressing this in a video, and he's talking about schools, and his entire back wall behind him full of all his guns.
Okay,
Think about the
that's kind of a
optics,
stretch.
that the optics.
That's kind of
You're
a stretch.
you're
He's
talking
just talking
you're
about
right. You're talking
not
about getting
like
kids back in school in front of a backdrop of guns. It's just the optics. You
I
know
don't
that
know.
the trigger parents, right? The trigger people out there.
Right. It's people who want
Oh
to
my
have
god!
a
I
problem
mean,
with it. That's
they
the only thing
jumped
they
on
want.
board. They jumped
Obviously.
at it, right? But
I
it's
didn't hear
like,
anything about this, but
but
yeah, obviously.
let's
Okay.
just, you do have to stop and think. Like now, every time we do something, we got to stop and think.
No.
What's in the camera shot, right? Is that one of these days going to be a bad thing to have in the camera
Oh, it already
shot
is.
for the
Yeah, it
show?
already is.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, of
Because,
course.
you know,
It represents the what is it? White supremacist male patriarchy,
once upon
something
a
like that.
time, you know what, it used to
Capitalist
represent,
patriarchy. I'm sorry, the capitalist patriarchy.
it used to just be a symbol of America. It's just a
Yeah,
symbol,
America
right?
is
That's what it
evil,
used to be.
obviously.
It
So,
was just a
yeah,
symbol of America, right?
right, but America is an imperialist, fascist,
Gotcha.
homophobic nation that's full of Christians. So it's terrible, obviously. Like the worst thing ever. How dare you?
Saint says the left doesn't want racial unity, which is they
Right.
want to keep people divided. This is true to a certain extent. With
That's what I was
contention,
saying. Yeah.
as long as you can create tension, you can create regulation. That's
Yeah.
the thing to keep in mind, right? It's all about the more contention. See, there's where you have to ask yourself, John, when is it time to just cuck and say, you know what? I'm not going to fight against you anymore. We're not going to fight against you anymore. Just stop. And we won't do anything. You don't do anything. Then they won't have anything to regulate, right?
Well,
What do they
no, then
argue?
they'll just do whatever they want
They'll
because you
find
can't
something to
fight.
argue.
Well, they'll do whatever they want then because you're not going to fight them.
Well,
So,
we'll fight them with votes. We'll fight them with votes,
oh yeah, that works.
but we won't. We won't open our mouth. That's it.
I already said you're not going to catch me voting again.
We'll play the
So
quiet game. Well, you got to vote sometime, John.
I'm not going to vote for shit.
Come on. What
No,
about voting for ice cream? Uh,
no. I'll scream for ice cream.
Elephant Man has given us a list of the different taxes. Those are fun ones. I love those. Don't forget luxury tax. That's a big one. And what's the other?
Those are my favorite.
What's
The
my
pink tax is my favorite.
what's no? You know what my favorite
Women have to
is?
spend more money on their products. Ah,
What do they call it? The one where they want to stop you? The prohibit? Is it a prohibitive tax?
which one?
Like that they put on cigarettes and alcohol?
Oh, a vice tax
A
or a
vice
sin
tax.
tax. Oh yeah, they call it both of those.
Yeah, it's a prohibitive tax. The idea is keep the tax, make the tax high enough to try and prevent you
I'm doing it. Yeah,
from
from doing
doing
stuff.
it, or to curb And I'm like, but why isn't
It just
alcohol
makes people
taxed
commit
as high as
crime in order to do
cigarettes?
it.
I think,
Yeah, it just makes people commit crime so they can get their fix. Like
right,
that's all it's gonna do.
right, it's fun. But uh, Saint says if they drive through reparations, it will only breed resentment and create more racists. Of course, that's
Yeah, but
what.
that's what but they need that though. They
But that's
like you said earlier, they want to keep people divided. Well, the best way to do that is to create actual racists.
uh,
Since they don't have any really, there's like 12 of them out there. So,
it's
they need to create more in order to make it more of a problem so they can take more control. Makes perfect sense.
Saint. It's called the circle of strife. Um, that should give you that should cover it for you. The ruling
Yeah,
class will never let the underlings unite. Of course not. Why would you want to? As long as you can keep them in
that's a
control,
terrible idea.
keep them squabbling, keep them in control. That's how you do it. So now, John. Oh, of course, Saint says the only matters to the
Oh,
people who
of
don't.
course, Wyatt too. Don't forget
That only matters. Oh, Wyatt.
you just went
Hey,
right by
Wyatt is
Wyatt.
in the house. I'm trying.
Jesus,
You know what? I need to get
so
my
mean to
glass.
Wyatt.
I,
Poor Wyatt.
I'll be. I'm going to go ahead and be honest here. My glasses. My eyes are getting to the point where I probably need to get my glasses updated because stuff gets blurry and it takes me a moment to focus.
Aquarius.
So I kind of
Right.
am run through quickly and I'll miss little things. Sorry, Wyatt.
Like Wyatt. A
Yo,
Wyatt's a little thing. You hear that, Wyatt?
look at him. He's
You're a
like
little
play the
thing.
clips, Bloomer. Well, let me tell you a little
It's say
something.
boomer.
Let me tell you a little something about playing the clips tonight. We're gonna need a little. We're gonna have a little backstory here first. I
It's
think,
true.
John.
Yeah.
Do we
Little
want to go ahead
backstory.
and let the cat out of the bag a little,
Yeah,
peek in,
absolutely.
you know,
I've
break
also got
through?
something that you don't know about too. So
All right,
here's one of those classic John announcements that Robert doesn't even know about.
right here. Surprise, surprise,
Surprise!
Robert. Figure this out.
Right.
All right, so
Um,
yes, we're going to be having a kind of a themed special week this week.
that's
We
right.
decided, and John, why don't you tell them a little about why and what?
So, I was very fortunate enough to have a hotel room paid for in Charleston, South Carolina, my hometown. So, my girlfriend and I are going to be traveling up there starting on Thursday, and we'll be staying the weekend. So basically, we'll just be there for like a long weekend.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
And the thing about the hotel that we got is that it is considered the most haunted hotel in the South.
Haunted, you say, John?
Haunted, I say,
Oh my!
indeed. Yes. Yeah. So it is. It's an Embassy Suites. Imagine that.
Right.
But it used to be part of the Citadel, which is the military college there. But it was at the time that it was used for that. It was an armory, right, an arsenal, uh, during the Civil War.
It,
And so, yeah, there's all kinds of stories, stuff like that going on. All kinds of stuff that's supposed to happen, including a very famous, soldier called Half Head because he got the top half of his head blown off,
yes.
presumably by a cannonball.
And when I heard
And
this in all my infinite
yeah,
wisdom, I said, "Oh, John, let's do this." And
right,
it's not a bad idea. It sounds like
a
it could
great
be
idea.
fun. So the hotel, the location John's staying at, there have been sightings in the hotel to the extent that people have left the hotel. People often asked to have their room relocated, to be put into a different room. The gentleman that he's speaking of, I believe it was George, right? Was the
I
name
believe
that
so.
one
Yeah,
person,
that's what they say.
one eyewitness claims to have gotten the name George. He has half his head, the top half of his head is gone, from like the eyebrows up, because he's a young guy. He was a cadet at the academy when Charleston was attacked. But they say he always seems to be in a jovial mood. He's never been done anything horrible except look like he's had the top of his head
Right,
blown
it's just
off.
his looks that are yeah.
But it
Elephant Man's claiming that Half Head is the meme.
um,
You tell Elephant Man. Do you know what we're talking about? I would be impressed if you did. Be very impressed.
um,
This is
So,
pretty obscure stuff. Like,
but anyway, so I suggested to John to call and attempt to get the room that is most associated with this guy showing up. And John, you said you called. They get a lot of requests
yeah,
for that room.
right.
So
I'm in line.
so it's a
I'm in line to get that
it's a
room.
possibility he could get the room. Maybe not, but maybe hopefully
Yeah,
at least on the same floor because we've determined that with additions to the building later on, that the floor, the mezzanine level would quite likely be the floor that the officers and stuff, the top floor of the building where the officers and a lot of the, action would be going on in the building. But this kid, we figure maybe he got killed at the beginning of the war when Charleston was attacked. That's why he's still in a good mood, even though
right.
he's
He's not all
dead.
demoralized and depressed and shit. Yeah,
Right, for a
he
city
hasn't had
that's being
to,
taken
start.
over.
Right, he didn't have to start eating rats and stuff.
Right, no
He
rats,
still had
no.
regular food.
Right. So
Yeah.
maybe he was getting ready to kiss a pretty girl, and then all right,
Yep.
that's the way to go,
There it
right?
goes.
And with a good thought in your
That's
mind.
hell yeah, it is.
So
The
what?
Lost Cadet. Elephant Man does know.
Oh, nice, the Lost
Holy
Cadet.
shit.
So
That's right. He
what
probably Googled it.
what I suggested John do is we're going to do the show. We'll be doing the show on Friday night and from the hotel. So because the way the suites should be set up, there will be dividing doors between rooms. Is to have John set up his phone with a voice recorder in the other room while we're doing the show, and and see, try and contact, see if there's any kind of noises, any kind of
Mhm.
spectral talk, anything like that. And then we can look at it, through near the end of the show, whatever, and see what we find. See if we've had any experiences. Maybe John will have had some experiences just
Yeah,
in the first night of being there, but you know,
we'll see.
so I think that's cool. I think it's
I think
freaking
it's fucking
awesome.
awesome.
He did invite me
Yeah.
down, and then he reneged on it. It was
I did
really,
not.
it was
No,
really
that's not
a,
what happened.
it was a
That's not
very
what happened.
trying moment in our
It
relationship. I
was.
don't know that we've ever dealt with anything quite as difficult and challenging as
It
that,
was
but
top 10 anime betrayals.
we worked through it. We persevered. We found a good place in our friendship again. Um, so I'm very
Oh
excited
man.
for him because
Right.
he's going to be down there. Um, so hopefully we're going
But
to keep our
also
fingers crossed.
during the Friday show, not only will I be like alone in the hotel room with all the lights off, just the only light being the computer screen. Um, but also Elaine will be joining us. J. Edgar's co-host, Elaine, will be joining us that night.
No way.
She apparently is big into all this paranormal stuff. She'll have
No
some opinions and stuff on it.
way.
No,
All right, you better. You should check on eBay and see if there's any like spare Ghostbusters stuff sitting around. You never know. You might get something. You could. I don't
yeah,
know. At least a trap, maybe a ghost trap. If you can
ghost
get your
trap.
hands on one of those,
Yeah,
I don't know. Is it worth looking for? I don't know if anybody else has. But that being said, so what John was thinking tonight was maybe we'll take a look at just a few. We'll do this tonight. We're going to talk some more about the hotel and things that have happened and people's experience. Just different stuff on Wednesday's show as well.
yeah. Be more
As we get
specific about the hotel. Yeah,
as we get a little closer too, because it does have a pretty long history, that puts it in the frame of mind to have a lot of, I don't know, reasons for people to die. I guess is the way to put it. I don't know, but anyway, so what we were going to do tonight was do a little bit of ghost stories, ghost sightings, right, John? Some sightings.
that's right.
You're
Good stuff.
you know now, understand, we have to always take with a grain of salt the current day that we're in with any kind of ghost sighting, UFO sighting. I don't care what it is anymore. You can't believe anything.
Oh
100%,
yeah,
right? Everything can
no.
be doctored, and some things can be done so well. I just saw an app, and I haven't. I thought about downloading it. I'm like, no, I'm not. But basically, it takes just the right amount of your face and blends it into like clips from movies, like Pirates of the Caribbean. You can be, Johnny
Oh
Depp
really?
for a while, and just take a picture of your face, and it puts it in there, and then plays the video, and there you are, playing that role, and it's looked good too. I'm like, okay, no, I just didn't want to get sucked into it, so I didn't try it. So that's why I say take everything that you see with a grain of salt. But anyway, this is a potential ghost sighting out of Gettysburg, and if you're not familiar with Gettysburg, they have lots of addresses
And
there.
you ain't American.
They've that's why they have a post office, is because they have so many addresses there. They've been doing
Right.
those since Lincoln's day or something, right?
So real quick
All right,
though,
we're here in
if you haven't already,
Gettysburg.
Why do you
hit
do
the like
that?
button, like button stuff. Because you
Oh,
wouldn't,
that's a good
you
reason.
didn't give me
Okay, I
enough
can
time
I
any
can
other
let you
time.
do it there. I can do
Yeah.
it, but you know,
You didn't give me any time anywhere else,
John,
so
John.
I had to wait.
All right, you know what? I'll start giving you a
Like button,
five
guys.
second pause after every single
Like button. Sentence. Yes.
thing I do.
Good.
Whatever. You're so gay. You're gay.
Like
Don't-
button, guys.
Hit the like button.
Ah,
Do it for John, or he's gonna have an aneurysm.
it's true. I might.
Anybody could at any time.
Anybody could at any time. It's fucking scary, dude. That's scarier than ghosts, man.
It is. It truly is. Because sit and think about it sometimes. I'm like, how you have just one of those random things in your head, just like some little twinge, whatever
Yeah, a
it is.
little twitch or
It's not
something.
even
Yeah.
hard
And you're like,
pain or anything, and you're
and you're like,
like,
that's it.
oh
It's
shit,
game
is this
over.
it? Was that the one?
It's game
Was that
over,
it?
man.
Oh and then you're just
Yeah.
sitting there scanning your head from the inside as much as you can, thinking you're
Yeah.
accomplishing anything, going, am I feeling anything anywhere else in my head? And if I'm not, why aren't I?
Right. Is this
Uh,
always how it feels? I don't know. Yeah.
Is this how my head's supposed to feel? God damn, what's that? What's that lump? And what's that divot?
Right, was that you? I don't know.
Right? I always knew they'd drop me. All right, here we go.
All right, we're here in Gettysburg, just before the 150th. Where should I stop?
Just pull off here.
Want to try to film something here?
Yeah.
They said there's activity here before, but all right. So we're gonna sit here for a while and just kind of film the camera,
A lot of troops left from here.
see what happens.
Oh, they will, yeah. It's only like a
I know,
2 minute
I'm
video.
fucking with you.
Alright.
Shh, John. I was trying to add to the suspense.
I was told by a ranger. Was it about in this area here, Jay, that the ranger said that there's been some activities. They heard some rumors about seeing some sightings of something that they can't explain.
There's a lot of troops that left over here, so the activity should be strong.
All right, we'll record for like maybe half an hour or so, and then we'll move our Devil's Den maybe after that.
Yeah, that'll be a good spot next.
The
And then
activity
we'll
is
hyper
strong
charge.
with this one.
Yeah, maybe we can pick up
True.
something from there.
I think it's hard though, because I can't really, unless we have flashlights. I guess I can shine it from the parking. All right, that's all right. We'll videotape here for a while.
Okay.
And let's be quiet though, okay?
Right. You're the one talking, dude. Shut up.
Right?
Is it weird? Do you feel like you have to be quiet right now?
Yeah, I know.
20
I
minutes
don't wanna,
later.
I don't wanna,
That's a time jump?
yeah.
Holy crap! Down by the canyon, you see that?
Oh, what is that?
Where? What?
Wait, shh. Oh my God. Is it?
Oh, there. Over by the wagons.
No way. What
Yeah.
is
Or
that?
the cannons.
I have
yeah.
no friggin' idea.
Did you get that on the camera?
It's recording.
No way.
Oh my gosh, did you see that?
Totally fake.
Come on.
So
All right,
fake.
hold on.
Honestly,
I'm backing that up.
I put some fake stuff in here too. Stuff that's like obviously fake.
it's recording.
Oh my gosh, did you see that?
Oh my gosh.
No
It's acting
way.
so
What is
bad.
that?
Really
All
gives
right,
it away.
here. So there he is.
It's hard for me to see from here. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's. I don't know. I mean, it's.
Oh, I see it. It's because I have sunglasses on. That
Right.
might be why you can't see it very well.
Right.
Do you see how fat that
I
ghost
have
was?
no
Elephant Man
friggin'
says.
idea.
You know what? He doesn't get much exercise anymore. Like what are you gonna do?
Get more exercise.
He can't. He's a
All
ghost.
right, here he comes. All right, he's walking. He'll
Holy,
come
holy
from here
crap!
first.
Down by the canyon, see that?
Yeah,
Oh, what is that?
Wait, shh.
Here he comes. Up by that
God.
wheel.
Yeah.
Walking up.
No way. What is that?
I have no friggin' idea.
Did you
Yeah,
get that
see,
on the
go.
camera?
Did you get that on the camera?
Yeah. See, that just.
It
looks
cool,
like
though.
he's-
I mean,
I mean, it looks. You're right. I mean, but it thoroughly looks like an. I don't know. I mean. I think I have to call shenanigans. on
oh
that.
yeah, for sure. I mean, their acting was terrible. Their acting was awful. It's like, oh
Are
my
you-
god, would you really act like that if you saw a ghost walking around? You'd just be like, oh my
No,
god,
you'd be
you
shitting your
believe
pants.
that?
You'd be shitting your
I
pants.
know.
You'd be shitting your pants.
Like, oh shit, go. Something like that would have been better.
All right, here's one. We'll see how this on May 1st. My wife and I captured a horrific ghost conflict on cameras we set up around our house. Oh my!
My wife and I captured a horrific ghost conflict on cameras we set up around our house. Since that time, the hauntings have been increasingly common. On June 8th, I again set up my cameras in hopes of capturing yet another glimpse of the afterlife. What you're about to see is the work of the true ghost realm. Camera 1 picked up poltergeist activity. Camera number 2 kept tipping forward and back as if someone were pushing it forward and back. Camera number 2 then captured our door opening and closing as if someone wanted to leave but was not sure about it.
Is that a cat? I think it's me. I love it.
Camera number 4 was then coincidentally blurred as if someone intentionally defocused it right when the first actual ghost was caught on camera. Notice the white moving blur here. Camera number 3 was then able to capture an item hovering right in front of the camera. Just in case you didn't see it, I used the red circle to help. After all this, my wife and I were fed up. We just wanted to see the real thing. Little did we know the following footage was about to change our lives forever. It was like our cat saw something that we didn't. Notice her movement as if she's watching something. Suddenly, camera number 1 picked up our cutting board floating in mid-air. Hopefully this red circle will help you see what I'm talking about. Do you see it hovering in mid-air? In this clip, you can barely see the ghost, but it's definitely paranormal, I think. Notice the ghost disappears for a moment. Where did he go?
Oh, John, the things that you
There
find
he
funny.
is. OEC on.
Yeah, by the way, that was an Onision video. Remember him? Oh
Who?
my god. Onision.
I don't know what that means.
He was like the biggest YouTuber before PewDiePie became the biggest YouTuber.
Saint says this is how I feel watching Ghost Hunters or anything of the sort.
For real. For real. It's so ridiculous. But yes, obviously that was a satire
So,
of like those ghost videos
do
that are
you
out there.
think? So, did you ever watch Ghost Hunters?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And now there were times where things would happen, right? Like I've seen episodes where things actually did appear to move. Do you think they were staging everything?
I don't know, maybe.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna like I don't know. Maybe. Saint said, "Damn it, Robert, you made me laugh at an Onision video." That was me. I found it. I put it up there. I'm the one that made you watch it, Saint. I'm the one that did it. I did it. It's
are you done? You're
Yeah.
so gay.
me.
No, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, they probably do stage everything though. I imagine.
No, I don't know.
Maybe they didn't at the beginning. I don't know, but it's like when you have a show like that, you need to come up with something every episode.
Well,
Like you have to come up with something.
well, right, and there were other ways there are other ways you can do it. So like with the EVPs and stuff like that are recording voices, for instance, right? And you hear you hear what sounds like a voice in there.
Hmm.
Well, typically before you as the listener can really make out what it's saying, they will always tell you what they think it's saying. And then,
Right.
right, they give you that mentalist clue to where then you start hearing that and then making associations. Like, they were really good at doing that with a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
they did. But there were some visual things that would happen occasionally. Like, I remember one where a brick kind of just like fell off of, or kind of across a room, like kind of thing, to where it was like, okay, that's more than just falling, but did they do that, or what was the thing? But
Right.
so it'll be interesting. It would be nice if you had some experience at the hotel that would give some credence,
Ooh.
because there's a possibility we would believe you.
There's also a possibility that I would just shit myself live on the air, and
That
I
would
hear
be
that's good for views.
that is
So,
so awesome.
right? Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I might end up just shitting myself. In fact, I would like take 3, 4 shits before the show, just to make sure that there's nothing in there. There's nothing on deck. Whew. Yeah, that would
You
suck.
might
I would be very, very freaked out.
you might get lucky, and it'll scare the shit out of you a few times before the show even before it's
Oh,
time
so
to
I'm ready
air.
for it then. I'll just be like, oh yeah, this is fucking George. What's up, bro? Just
Yeah,
talk, hey,
here's
say
the
hi, man.
George. Can you wear the headphones? You want to?
Uh,
Yeah, can you get him in the
my
camera shot?
homeboy George over here.
And I think that's the thing to really to take away from like it's easy to see things, in something. Like for instance, if I've gone and I've looked at photos, like they talk about the snake people that are the aliens, the reptilians that
Oh
are
yeah,
here,
yeah,
right? And they're always talking about the eyes, right?
yeah.
However, people don't take into account what those people are looking at whenever they're speaking, because most of the time there's a light to the left and a light to the right, and there's like teleprompter or somebody holding cue cards in front, to where it's going to create that reflection in your eyes to where it looks like an eye
Yeah.
slit, right? And I'm like, it's just what you can see, what people will see. It's like cloud animals, right?
Right.
Everybody sees something different, but I've never seen any real concrete proof. Like I've never really seen something that I could definitively go, "Wow," you know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
more than just a reflection off something, you know. All right, so
Truth.
now we got one more, and it's a few minutes long, but it's a compilation of a few things. Um,
It's actually,
I,
if I'm not mistaken, it's a chills video. So
shut
anyone who's familiar with yeah, it is. If anyone's familiar with any kind of these like ghost videos and stuff, will know chills. He's like the dude,
All right. So
the one. He's the one with the voice.
prepare to have your creeps creeped out,
Yeah.
or maybe just get some chills.
Chills. Number 10, Ghost Jail. A YouTuber named Junked Up Kitten and his friends are exploring an old county jail. They take a video camera with them so that they can make a parody of the Ghost Hunters television series. Little did the small group know that on this night they would accidentally capture actual evidence of real ghosts. Junked Up Kitten wanders around the property with the camera close to his face while narrating. He passes by an ordinary looking jail cell window and doesn't think much of it at the time. When he goes back to review the footage later, he makes a startling discovery in the window. It looks like his parody show has turned out to be the real thing. From the other side of the glass, the colorless reflection of a man's face stares at him. You can clearly see the outline of the ghost's brow, nose, and empty eyes. His head is cocked to the right, almost as if he is sizing up a newcomer. His mouth appears to be a thin, expressionless line. If anything, the ghost has incredible timing. Right when Junked Up Kitten says that he is looking for evidence of ghosts, one just happens to show up in the window. It's almost as if the ghost was trying to make its presence known. Perhaps it was even trying to get a hold of someone who could free it from its miserable cell. Number 9, Restaurant Spook.
Okay. Are we allowed to debunk it all? Could that have just been the reflection
Yeah.
of his cameraman?
Yeah. Probably.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yes, we are allowed to debunk.
Spooks. Most people think of houses, hospitals, or jails when they think about ghost sightings, but some of the most unsuspecting of
Yes.
places can turn out to be
Says
the
a lot,
most
man.
haunted. This footage was taken in a popular food joint during broad daylight. A shadowy ghost suddenly materializes in a Subway restaurant. It starts out in the shape of a human and almost appears to be getting a table. When it gets back to its seat, the black shadow suddenly changes into a floating black blob of an orb. At this point, an employee or maybe a customer appears to see the ghost in the doorway. Whoever they are, they look stunned for a second and then quickly back away. The shadow orb pays no attention to the human as it floats up to the window and lingers there. It's almost as if it's taking a look at the outside world. The ghost starts to rise even higher and shrinks until it fully disappears back to wherever it came from. Number 8, the Ghost Stadium. Ghosts don't have to wait until nighttime before they can begin to haunt. As this Brazilian soccer footage shows, the crowd is happily cheering on their favorite team when suddenly a shadow ghost starts sprinting through all of them. Look closely and you'll notice how nobody tries to move out of the way. Even though a person is clearly running full speed at them, not a single person tries to pull their legs in or even bothers to look up. They are so concentrated on the game that they do not see, feel, or hear the ghost as it runs directly through the half-filled stadium in a straight line. Number 7, Fridge Ghost. A YouTuber named No Ghost Hunter
Hey,
grows
pause
tired
it.
of living in a haunted home.
The last two, I think, are just like it's the camera thing where like, it's superimposed, I guess. Like the previous footage is like so like the guy that was running along the stadium, that was just one of the soccer players, but like it was just being put through whatever like just some sort of error in the camera. I don't know.
Right.
It was
Well,
just being put that film was being put, right there. The footage was being put over the stadium.
right. Well, see, that was like the one in the from the security cam footage. I was seeing because there was activity outside the window that kind of correlated with the shadows that were moving inside the
Yeah,
affecting the light and how the camera was recording it. So I'm like, well, I can kind of
right,
see what you're doing, but there's people walking outside those windows too at about the same time.
right.
Eh,
Yeah.
Maybe the kid ran to
Oh,
the
hang
back.
on, real quick.
What?
Real quick, Saint says he's got to go, folks. Enjoy the rest of the show and have a great night. You too, Saint.
Thanks, Saint.
You
Peace
too.
out, brother. Stay safe.
Peace.
All right, here we go. A little bit.
And decides to videotape the disturbances for evidence. It's a little past midnight when he hears scratching noises, which soon progresses into running footsteps and loud bangs. These noises appear to be coming from all different areas of the home at once. The next day, his HD TV literally begins rocking violently from side to side all by itself. The rocking motion picks up speed until the corners of the TV are almost hitting the entertainment center, and it looks like the base is going to break. Then the TV starts rocking back and forth the other way. There is nobody behind the television, and there's no way they could have been using strings to do this. The day after, No Ghost Hunter finds a short video on his phone that he is 100% sure he did not make. The video is shot from the ground level of his kitchen. When you look at the reflection in the oven, you can see that nobody is holding the phone. The phone is literally floating in midair. Additional footage shows the TV shaking by itself again. This time, No Ghost Hunter is able to film behind the television to show that this is not a prank at all. He waves his hand above the television to show that there's no wires, and he even films underneath the base to show that there is no rod coming out from the entertainment center or anything like that. The lights cut out multiple times while he films. A few days later, he captures his refrigerator door slamming open and closed again and again. The brazen poltergeist leaves the door open to make sure its presence is fully known. Number 6. Watched from above. A group of British
Staged or not staged?
Oh yeah, for sure staged.
How did they fucking do it?
Sure.
Were they using magnets? What? Come on, something. John,
How did they work? Yeah, maybe.
tell me how they did it.
Also,
John.
Ron Helton has joined us on Trovo. So
Ron
Ron.
Helton on the Trovo. Good to see you tonight, Ron. Good to see you tonight. Welcome to our little bit of spook, little bit of spook, little bit of spook, little bit of funny. John's going to be having a spooky weekend coming up, and we're just trying to start setting the mood, setting the tone. Do we want to set a mood or a tone? Which do we want to set?
Both.
Both?
Both.
John.
We're doing it.
John, those are two entirely different things.
We're doing it. We're ambitious over at the Generational Gap.
Oftentimes requiring two different, states of mind. I don't know. You got to think.
There's two of us, so
Helton says it was staged.
there you go. I agree.
See, I thought they were just living in an earthquake zone or something. That's what I was getting.
Now, the TV was moving like too
uniformly?
Yeah, uniformly, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was obviously being artificially moved.
Helton says he's having trouble keeping up with all the streams. Guess I better write down a schedule. Yeah,
I guess so, man.
We actually stay to a schedule, even though other people try and like capitalize on our time slots, to draw your attention away. But we come at you regularly. We're like bowel movements. Right. 3 times a week, you can usually count on having a Robert or John. If you've had some cheese, you might miss. There might be an episode that's not there, right? But anyway,
there's a few.
Have some coffee, and we'll usually be there. Ed was on, and Steven, and you guys. Yes, but see, your list, that is in complete opposite of importance. See,
right.
in that order, right? That's the opposite of the importance.
It's us as the most important, and then everyone else doesn't really matter.
Right.
Equally unimportant.
Right. Everyone outside of us, equally unimportant. It's because we believe in inclusivity and diversity. So everyone is equally unimportant. All right. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here with these guys.
British friends are playing catch in a courtyard when one of them sees something strange and points it out to the others. The camera follows his gaze and stops on a pale face looking at them from high above. The sickly person looks at them for a second longer before silently slipping out of view. The group is now creeped out and wants to know who has been spying on them this whole time. They tell the property manager about the face they saw in the window, but she says that it's impossible. The room they are talking about has been locked and unoccupied for quite some time. The manager goes up with them to unlock the door and show them around. They try and find the person, but the place is completely empty. There's no way anyone could have been up there, yet the camera obviously says
Yeah, see, that's
differently.
not true.
The mysterious
Pause it real
peeper
quick.
has never been identified.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this whole like, there's no way anyone could have been up there. Well, then who did all the graffiti in there?
Right.
Come on, don't give me that
Right.
shit. Yeah,
Right. There's
come on.
graffiti in there.
Yeah, but there's no way anyone could have been up there. Okay.
Right. And the thing that was the guy in the courtyard when he pointed, it was the most horrible acting.
Yeah,
It was like somebody
yeah.
go Invasion of the Body Snatchers from the 70s. Go watch it and watch the horrible actors as they point.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, that was what I saw there. But anyway, yeah, that was. And then I'm like, and not to mention, if somebody wanted to be up there knowing that it's empty all the time, nobody ever comes up there, you can find
Yeah.
places to hide in that room. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, here we go.
5. Old Pete's Ghost. There's a famous pub in Sydney, Australia called the Carlisle Castle Hotel. For years, this local watering hole has been haunted by the ghost of Old Pete, a bitter ex-employee who left the earth quite some time ago, but not his job. His ghostly antics have been caught on camera no less than 3 times. The first time Pete was caught on tape, he was helping a customer. The unsuspecting man opens the door to the cooler when Pete decides to grab 2 bottles of red wine for himself. His ghost grip must have not been too tight though, because both bottles go crashing to the floor. Looking at the footage, there's no way that the shelf gave out or anything like that. The bottles were thrown to the ground with deliberate force with no one nearby. Another incident occurred when the bar was full of witnesses. Everyone is happily enjoying themselves when a hanging red wine glass suddenly dislodges itself and smashes into the counter. Glass shards fly everywhere and the entire bar takes notice. Although this could have simply been a freak accident, what are the chances that, of all the red wine glasses, the one that's directly underneath the server happens to be the one to fall and break? The timing is almost too perfect to be a coincidence. Old Pete strikes again.
Okay, now this to me is really simple because in the front part of that, did you see where the employees came out of? Both of the people on the other side of the counter come from the direction where those wine bottles. That was somebody had pushed wine in and pushed it too hard. There was force from the back of those wine bottles. Somebody was stocking something, doing something back there. But man, I can't tell you how many times I've been standing at the bar and had taken wine glasses and put them up on the glass rack up above, and then 30 seconds later standing in that same place talking to a customer, bullshit and whatever, and here comes one of the glasses falling down because it was still wet on the stem or just a vibration. It wasn't seated back there far enough. Sorry, you didn't get. Yeah, that one doesn't convince me. That's just human condition.
Yeah.
The third and final tape reveals a glimpse of old Pete himself. The bar is empty this time when the angry ghost suddenly materializes in front of the security camera. If you look closely, you can make out old Pete's head at the bottom of the screen. He appears to be waving. Many other bartenders and customers all claim to have seen old Pete for themselves in one way or another. It isn't uncommon for tapes to turn on by themselves, and the bartenders have seen what they can only describe as strange things while counting down their registers after close. To make this all even stranger, all of the bottles that go crashing to the floor are always high-end red wines. This just so happened to be old Pete's favorite drink, at least when he was still with the living. Number 4, the church disturbance. Steve and Jake are wandering around the woods one summer night with a single goal in mind. They want to explore an abandoned local chapel that's rumored to be haunted. As they approach, they see that someone has written prayers and warnings all over the outside wall. The two friends instantly get a bad feeling about this adventure, but they swallow their fear and decide to press on. The rickety main door is locked, so they sneak around back. Already, they don't want to be here much longer. They had explored an old clock tower earlier in the day and were greatly disappointed by a lack of paranormal activity, but they could tell this church is way different. The place looked and felt quite haunted. They go up some wooden steps and enter through the back door. They shine their flashlights deep into the church's main assembly. There's rows and rows of wooden pews ahead of them. They pass by a podium and notice a piano. Then they head deeper inside. Now they find themselves inside of a small maintenance closet. They close the door behind them because they don't want anyone sneaking up on them. It feels like anyone could be watching them right now. They see a ladder to the left. Steve is about to climb it until Jake jokes that a body is going to fall down on him if he does, so he decides not to. That's when the piano starts to play from outside.
Oh no. Oh my god. Turn off the light. Listen. Listen to the piano. Is that piano?
It'd be all it took for me. I'm out.
Is that door open? Is that door open?
Hell no.
It's a soft and haunting piano melody that fills the church. Steve and Jake shut off their flashlights and keep recording. They debate whether or not they should go outside or stay here, where it's semi-safe. They realize that they can't spend the entire night trapped in the broom closet of a haunted church. So they turn their flashlights back on to see who is playing. Sitting at the piano at the far end of the room is a black hunched over phantom. They scream and shut the door. Jake cries for a bit, then they run away through the back exit. The music stops as soon as they leave the church. They were hoping that the music stopped because it was over, but in reality, it was because the ghost had gotten up from the piano to chase them. They run a good distance before pausing to look back into the dark scenery. It seems like they've gotten away, but then the ghost finds them and they run away screaming. The camera cuts off as they fall back deeper into the woods. At least one of them survived and uploaded this video onto YouTube, where it's remained for the past 10 years. Number 3, the teleport.
So I'm just going to put it out
At
there.
least one of
If
them
I were a
survived.
caretaker who kept an eye on that church and had a little place, a little house that I lived in right near there,
Right. I go
and I
play
had,
piano.
you know, right? Come on.
Yeah.
I would so fucking go sit down and I would
Yeah, why
make
wouldn't you?
people shit their pants all the time coming out there looking for hauntings.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, you just check and make
Yes, sir.
sure they ain't carrying guns on their way in. But, man, they're going to be coming in all quiet and everything. And you got your ways to sneak in. He can sneak in. That was a man. There was a person sitting at that fucking piano.
Right. Right.
Whether it was one of their
Yeah.
people, maybe it was. I don't know. I'd have to
Yeah,
watch
it
it to
could've
see
been.
if they were actually having a pants shitting moment, if they're just really that good. Because I would think that would
Yeah.
be a great prank to play on people all the fucking time.
It would be fun.
Ron says it's
Oh, shit.
crazy weather in Oklahoma, ups and downs. It's kind of like Florida.
But it is.
We're about to have summer temperatures this coming week.
It's good. I think thing ought to be gone.
We're going to be peaking, getting up near 90 degrees this coming 7 days. Scary.
Jesus.
Order.
Ridiculous.
2 girls are alone in their house when one of them sees something in the doorway. Pause the video and you can see it's clearly the upper half of a young girl who is dressed in old-fashioned clothes from another time period. She is floating in midair as she curiously peeks in on the 2 children to see what they are doing. One of the girls still doesn't see the ghost. She shouts at something that's on television and accidentally startles the ghost away. The girl with the camera follows the ghost as it retreats. The ghost instantly teleports and now stares at them from the top of the steps. The scared girls run out of the house
Oh yeah, that's so
screaming.
fake.
They stop only for a second to turn around from the street. They can see the ghost girl walking across the left window on the top floor. It vanishes and then suddenly appears on the bottom floor in less than a second. They scream even louder and take off again. Number 2, stay out.
I'm sorry. That is present day slumber party, right?
Right.
We've
Yeah,
all
that's
got
just like-
phones. We've all got phones. We can make this happen, and look how quick we can edit the video and
Right.
then post it. This is
Right.
going to be so cool. Are you ready to be scary?
Awesome.
Out of the attic. Back in 2008, a man started to notice some strange activities around his house. He would often come home from work to find his dogs cowering under the bed, too afraid to come out. One of his dogs would only come out from under the bed for a brief 10 seconds at most before going straight back into hiding. Something was intimidating these large dogs badly. The owner starts to hear banging noises coming from all over his house. He begins to look around. He eventually traces the noise to his attic and goes upstairs with a camera for a closer look. Everything is completely trashed. Boxes are overturned and clothing is scattered everywhere. Something has violently flung all of his personal possessions all around. As soon as he goes back downstairs, he hears another huge bang and runs right back up the steps. He puts the camera down and searches the empty attic for clues. A nearby metal bucket falls over and he runs out of the room before he gets hurt. Another object hits the ground on its own and the camera moves to the right on its own too. The homeowner was too scared to look at the footage. He waited a week before going back upstairs to get his camera. By now, he is understandably quite paranoid. He begins recording everything he does in his home, and it isn't long before he has more paranormal evidence. One day, his radio turns to static and a spirit orb rushes out the window. Later, someone violently jiggles the doorknob to the door that leads to the attic. The door opens and shuts by itself. The radio goes back to normal soon after. Things look to be going back to normal for a second, but then a paper towel roll suddenly flies up from the table to the couch, and the radio starts making more sounds again. The video recording starts to get fuzzy too, as if a ghost is causing electrical disturbances by passing by. Both of his dogs begin to look in the same spot as if they are following something. Whatever it was, the man was never able to physically catch it on film. He was only able to record its strange and oftentimes violent behaviors. Before we get to number 1, if you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillin.
It's definitely a cool idea for like a YouTube channel. You don't have to back it up. Yeah, just get through his. But yeah, yeah, it's a cool idea for like a YouTube channel. Be like, here's my haunted house.
Right. It wouldn't surprise me if
Here's
there's
shit
something
that's
out
going
there.
on.
Maybe.
It'd be really cool if there was like a constant live stream
Mm.
of one. If someone was like, here's my haunted house, just like, here's a live stream.
Well,
Watch it
now,
all the, like it's on all the time.
now
That'd be
if
fucking
you
cool.
looked for it, I'm willing to bet you that in the present day and age, there have got to be some haunted houses like that are tourist traps, but haunted houses out there that have got maybe some live stream, like they do at aquariums for the dolphin tanks and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Where they've
exactly.
just got a constant stream going that you could tap into. You just have to sit and watch it live.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But you could probably find those pretty easily if you search for them. The one, yeah. I've run across things like that, like when I was, when you want to go look at like, street cam footage,
Yeah, I
live
love those.
street feeds from Key West during, Fantasy Fest and whatnot. Dad, is that you? Type something on the computer. Funny how his camera managed to fall and still record in that same direction, right?
Yeah.
People are the luckiest with cameras.
This footage comes from somewhere in the Middle East. A group of teenagers are curiously exploring an old school. They go up a flight of steps and pause when they hear a dog whining on the other side of the door. They all run down the steps and gather at the bottom. They're afraid of being attacked by a group of stray dogs now, but they decide to press on and explore the lower areas. The group finds bravery in their numbers and begins to joke and laugh again as they make their way down a long hallway. They open a door and find graffiti on the wall. Other people had been here before them. Maybe this place isn't so bad after all. The teens grow a little more nervous as they continue to poke around. They are laughing less and starting to go silent. Something just isn't right about this section of the building. A YouTuber named Zabin Jaguar translated their comments. He says at this point one of the teens say that their phone shut itself off even though it was fully charged only a moment ago. Another person was able to keep recording, though they probably now wish they hadn't. They enter one classroom in particular and get a dreadful feeling. Suddenly, a figure actually appears out of thin air and walks towards them. The ghost is missing his head, but there's somehow no blood. A loud chanting begins as soon as the ghost walks towards them, but this may be prayers from a nearby mosque. Amazingly, the group all appears to have missed the ghost, which explains why they calmly continue to keep exploring. They wouldn't see the apparition until much later, but when they did, they would never forget what was heading straight towards them in that room. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because I upload a new scary video.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, Chills is kind of awesome. Like, obviously the videos, in my opinion, are fake.
Yeah, that one went. That
Chills
one
is
really,
he's a good content creator. He deserves those 5.5 million subscribers or whatever.
Yeah, that one kind of guy. I'm like, I think maybe there was a lot of light coming from that window behind us, the guy walking. So you know, it's pretty easy to get rid of a head, especially if he's got a little head.
Right.
Heldon says, "Oh, he says he thinks a lot of those ghost stories are fake. But having said that, my dad used to open the door to my room late at night for several years after he passed. I didn't see that over
Fair
on
enough.
whatchamadoodle.
On the
Uh,
Trovos,
no, that one didn't. Oh,
that's
yeah.
where he put it in,
Now
his
I see it,
Trovos.
but I didn't see it before. Weird. Sorry, I didn't share that sooner. But yeah, I don't know. But I've got we got stories from our. I'm sure you've got things from your childhood where
I
you're like,
really, I really don't. I have like
really?
one, or like two things from my childhood. That's it. And one of them was when I was like just waking up in the middle of the night. So like I had woken up in the middle of the night, like you do. So that's usually explained, you know, by whatever sleep magic. Um, and the other one was just like a corner of my eye kind of thing. That
Right.
yeah. So I really don't have any kind of experiences
Like
with ghost stuff. Just, I do have a UFO experience. I think I've told on the show before, and that's it.
yeah, no, the like the only thing I remember there was the Cemetery Hill was behind the school's place. It was on a real tall hill. It was really odd the way it was because like we would have to run, or Graveyard Hill is what we called it in gym, but we'd have to run up this hill in gym class and up and down to where the road ended. Turned into and ran into a fenced area, and then turn around and run back to the gym. And it wound up being the equivalent. I think it was like a total of 3 miles. It was a 3 mile run there and back, or maybe four. But anyway, up at the top of Graveyard Hill, of course, was the cemetery, and there was a
Mhm.
there was a small child's tomb there that had a lamb on top of it, and the ghost stories were that the child still haunted the graveyard, and
Naturally.
the ear on the stone lamb would turn. And sure enough, like having run up there different times, and you could see it, you know, further off in there from the road, um, the ear would be in different positions at different times.
Wait, what was it, like a stone?
It was part of the headstone. Yeah, it was a lamb
Okay.
carved into the top of the headstone. It was a
Okay, gotcha,
stone. It was a
gotcha.
stone lamb, but one of the ears would move. But we never went. We never had the balls to go in there. Of course, it could have just been a bum ear, right? That broken
Yeah,
ear that was getting rotated. But but the rumor was, the scary story was that that's the boy, the baby.
right.
But other than that, the only other thing was this house that was out on Old Jaeger Road, which was renowned for its various urban myths and urban legends going on, from the pig man and all to
Hmm.
waterheads and all of this. But there was a house there where a guy had apparently killed his entire family, in this house, a big house that's set, a football field's distance off the road,
Right.
but had gone to, it had been abandoned long ago after he was sent to prison to die. I believe they gave him the death penalty. But anyway, it was abandoned, no electricity to the place, nothing. But we happened to be driving down Jaeger Road, and we slowed as we passed by it because there were blue lights in two of the rooms in the upper on the upper right side, and there shouldn't have been anything. And then we saw some flashing for a moment in one of the lower floors, and then we got the fuck out of there because there were no lights on the exterior of the house, nothing anywhere. The property was pitch black. You could just make out the house against the silhouette of the night sky, if light pollution back behind it in the distance. But yeah, so that's about the closest thing to it. That could have been anything, of course, but it sure enough freaks you the fuck out when you're already
Oh yeah.
sitting out there on Jaeger Road with a half a dozen urban legends waiting to jump out at you.
Right. For
Was the
sure.
guy who killed his entire family named Buzz? No, actually, he was a doctor. He was a surgeon and he lost his shit, but he was supposedly involved in. He was supposed to be involved in witchcraft and stuff like that, as Satanist, as it were. And
Mm.
supposedly that's what he was into, and that's why he wound up killing his family. But no,
Sounds like some shit you
we
make
never,
up
we didn't have
when you were
Google,
very Christian, you
right?
know?
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
We didn't have Google back then to see if to verify the urban legends. It was just
yeah. Right.
stories handed down. You know, you were always worried driving down Jaeger Road if the pig man was going to chase your car or not, because he was supposed to be able to keep up with a car, and he could jump on a car if he wanted
Oh,
to.
fuck.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Old deformed boy that had grown up, and
Right.
he was the pig man, lived out there all by himself. No,
You just
just
want some company, man.
right.
Like, just, invite him inside the car. Be like, yo, come on, man, let's go for a ride. If you gotta be killing you trying to keep up with me. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Come on, let's go. Yeah, that's all these people want. They just want some kindness.
But
Jesus Christ, yes.
so here's the thing. I want to put it out there that on Wednesday's show, if any of you have anything that you want to share, or any hauntings or any things like that, and whether you want to tell us about it, and we'll talk about it on the show. You can do that between now and Wednesday's show, or if you want to pop on. We don't
Yeah,
care. We'll join in the call with you. We'll talk to you right
a
here
little
on.
Collins show
Yeah,
action.
do it on the show, and you can talk to us about your supernatural experiences if you've had any. I think it's kind of cool. Not that I'm never gonna. I will always say I'm gonna believe in it whenever I have solid proof. Right.
Yeah,
I want to be a
I get
believer if it's
it.
real.
Right.
How does that? That's the kind of believer I am. I want to believe in something if it's real. That's
Yeah.
all I have to say about that. That's how I feel about UFOs and aliens and stuff. I want to believe. So if you have anything, reach out to us, John. There are ways that they can reach out to us. Tell them some of the best ways that they can
There
talk to us,
are.
and let us know they want to talk to us about that.
Before I do that, I have to acknowledge over on D Live, Elephant Man has sent us a lemon, an ice cream, and a diamond.
I love the Elephant Man. Many mad props to the Elephant Man
That's
for
right.
taking care of the Gin Gap in the way he does. You are
And
awesome. My hat's tipped to you.
yeah, that's pretty awesome of you. And there's an Ninja. And he says, lemon's almost gone, fellas. Well, thank you, because now we got a Ninja, which is awesome. Hell yeah. Thank you, Elephant Man. You're awesome. Also, Ron's right. He did relate a ghost story to us, and we missed it.
Is that the one that I just went up there and talked about? His father?
When I was about 10 or so, I thought I saw my neighbor standing in my closet, coveralls and all.
Oh.
I asked him why he was there when he died 2 weeks prior. I turned on the light. He was a dairy farmer who lived a mile from where we lived. So hang on. Why did you have your closet door open? What kind of sociopath keeps his closet door open? I mean, you're just asking for the coverall guy to be in there. Like you're begging for it at that point. Always keep your closet door closed. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, that would be kind of freaky. Now,
Yeah.
now, is it possible that in some way his death was so traumatic to you that you saw the things you normally see in your would have seen in your closet, but at
Yeah.
that point in time, you saw the the cloud image, right? You saw a cloud image. That's what I have to call them, because it's like we all see things in
Right.
clouds, right? But you see it in shadows and things like that too. Like I used to do that when I was a kid and look in my closet, and I could see things in that, and I would also see things in the shadow of the tree outside my window that would shine up against the wall to the far side of the room. And that one's kind of freaky, right? Especially when it's nighttime and those shadows will move. And you're
Yeah.
like, you've already convinced
Ah.
yourself that it's just the tree. But
Yeah.
what do
That's
trees
really.
do throughout the year? They change their foliage. Especially we would get
Yeah.
seasons there. We would have winter. So it was always shifting and changing. It was like, oh my god. He says I
That's
had
crazy.
three three brothers that shared the room with me. What closet door being closed? Yeah, that's
I
funny.
don't see why that doesn't mean you can't close the door. But I had something similar happen, like you were saying. When I was really young, it was like it looked like there was because from my where I laid my head, I could see the couch in the living room if my bedroom door was open, and I slept with my bedroom door open at that time. I was prepubescent, so I wasn't worried about having my door closed, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Um, so, but it looked like I could see what looked like a person sitting on the couch, and then when I went over there, like I turned the light on, and it was just like the way that the blankets were
Right.
piled on it. It's just like the way and how dark it was. It looked like somebody with their arm on the armrest, and like the little head
Yeah.
sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. God forbid should something new go into the closet. Like hanging up, and
Oh yeah.
it's a new pattern, right? And then
Right.
all the lights go out, and you just have light from outside the window, and this, that, and the other, and it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, that's new, but it's still not a monster. Okay, gotcha. The monsters are in the books.
Right.
Uh, so he said that they loved the guy and missed him. His wife said he bent over to tie his shoes on the way on the way to the dairy barns, and he fell over, had a heart attack. So I mean, it's that could have been what it was, or it could have been him coming to say goodbye to you in his own way. See you one last time.
Okay, man.
I mean, see you and your brothers all in the one. That's one place he could see you all. Maybe he cared about you
Maybe.
and he wanted to see you off, and that's a nice positive, you know,
Way of looking
thing
at it,
to
yeah.
right. But I'm like, what? See there, and there's here's the question to take away before we go back to what we were doing, is
Is
if spirits do exist like that, what then does that mean one should believe in? Right?
I
Is
don't
it
know.
is
That's
it
that's a little
like
bit
is
too
that is
much of
it
a heavy subject to be
right?
bringing up at the end of the show.
No, no. It's just a question, a point to ponder as you go
Right.
about your day. The next couple of days is, what is it?
Sure.
What is it? Then you have to determine what is this asking me to believe in? What kind of afterlife? Spiritual, non-spiritual, etc., etc. It's
Right.
just a thought. But anyway, carry on, John. Where can they find us? Twinkle Toes.
Yes. All of our stuff in the description, no matter what platform you're on, all of our stuff is in the description of that platform. So, besides YouTube, you can follow us on DLive and Trovo. Also, I think we have like Twitch and their crap that's like all unimportant. Um, then we have our Discord server. We have both Discord and Guilded. However, we are much more active on Discord, so make sure you join that. Lots of cool people to talk to, and you will also get notifications before our shows. In case wait, Ron says he just lost the stream. Ghost, doubt it. But anyway, uh, yeah, I will say Discord. Yes, join there. Join Guilded as well because we have a whole Freedom Scoop server there. And then we don't have a Freedom Scoop website at the moment, so Freedom Scoop stuff is on Guilded at the moment. Um, then we have our Subscribe Star. So if you like us a lot and you want to give us some money, you can do that over there. And we also have perks. So you get something in return for your money. You're not just handing it over for nothing. And then wait, that's it because we can't do the Freedom Scoop one.
We're on positive.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that'll be it. So, go make sure you join all of our platforms and subscribe to us everywhere, and you know, maybe give us some money if you like us. Elephant Man's been pretty generous over there on DLive, so
I like him.
I think he's fine.
Maybe you should change your name to Sugar Daddy Man.
That's right.
But anyway, all right. So we are going to be, as we said, we're going to be back on Wednesday for our regular episode of Shooting the Shit, which is at 9:30 p.m. And then We'll be back again on Friday after that at 8:30 p.m. John will be coming to us from Charleston, South Carolina, from the old Citadel, and hopefully he'll have roused the interest of any ghostly beings there, and hopefully we can find out if there's any truth to be told. But do be on the lookout, John, for anyone that looks like a Civil War reenactor. Those are typically what people are confusing the ghosts for. But then we'll, after that, of course, we'll be try and be back again next Monday for another episode of Filling the Gap at 9:30 p.m. to try and get your week started off with a little bit of something lighthearted, like we've tried to offer you tonight. So, having said that, all of those times are in the Eastern time zone, the one and only true time zone, not to be confused with the rest of those time zones, which are just posers. I believe you all know who you are. But thanks for joining us tonight, folks. Love all the chat and discourse. Sorry if I miss a few things every once in a while. At my age, we're lucky I'm still able to turn this thing on, this box with the lights and stuff. We're going to get the hell out of here. Have yourselves a good night, folks. John, peace out, and peace out, folks.
See you guys.
The war begins.
You can say that again.